it's Tox from Crits Happen. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Today we've got a special critical preview of a game that's currently in motion on Kickstarter from Mercury Games. It's called Infamy, and it's designed by Travis R. Chance. It's meant for 3 to 4 players, plays in about 60 minutes, and is recommended for ages 13 and up. Now, Infamy is a cyberpunk dystopian style world. You're actually not even on Earth. You're on the Martian mining colony of Ares 6. And it's your job to use the seediest, most underhanded contacts, bribe them, gain resources, complete missions in the hopes of either gaining enough reputation with one of the gangs on the colony to take over, or get enough infamy to start your own. Come with me as we jump into the game that has the coolest first player token marker I've ever seen. Let's jump into the world of Infamy. So this is Infamy. Infamy looks very busy, but it's actually very easy to learn. There's 2 different ways to win. The first is by gaining 15 points or more along the Infamy track. The second is by gaining 5 points in reputation on any one of the 3 factions that's ruling Ares 6 right now. There's the Harada Cartel, the Trust Megacorp, and the PKD Militia, and each one provides you very different abilities as you move up the reputations inside of their factions. The one nice thing about this board is that as you move up, let's say you're at rank 3 for the Harada Cartel, you do still have access to everything at rank 2 and everything at rank 1. Now, how do I gain reputation and how do I gain infamy? Well, that's simple. You're going to complete missions. To do that, you're going to have to collect resources. To collect resources, you're going to have to either bribe contacts or go to specific locations on Ares 6. Now, each game is built around rounds. Each round has 2 turns. The turns are day and night. And as you can imagine, some contacts give you one ability during the day, some give you different at night. So there's a lot of different strategies to employ. Now, one of the interesting things about the game is you're going to start from contact 1 and move down in the first phase, and each player is going to have 12 bribes that they can use to bid on the services of the contacts. It's very important who wins these. First, if let's say the yellow player won the very first contact by making the most bids, whatever bids they put on this character are going to be used and not be able to be retrieved until the end of the night phase. So they're going to have to go through one whole day turn, have 5 new contacts brought out at night, go through a whole new night turn, and then they'll get their bribes back. So you have to use your 12 bribes very, very specifically. The other thing is that whoever wins gets the Triggerman gun, and the Triggerman gun marks who gets to decide to bid on the next contact. So if I won as the yellow player contact 1, then I choose to start the bidding on contact 2. I can choose to bid or I can choose to pass. You can also fold raise, as Travis told me when we were first talking about strategies in this. And by that, I mean I could choose to pass initially and let other players bid and then come in afterwards to see who's interested in it and jump back in. Just because I pass on bidding doesn't mean I'm done for that session of bidding. Now, once you've determined all of the winners, let's say yellow wins contact 1, blue wins contact 2, and brown wins contact 4 and 5. We then immediately get the benefits of those contacts when they win them. So aside from getting the Triggerman gun and moving on, let's say I have contact 1 here gives me a favor. I'm going to get that favor and put it next to my board to show that I've won that resource. There are some contacts that will give you resources, which are guns, compounds, and data. There's some that will give you henchmen, and there's some that will give you abilities. And as I mentioned, some will give you specific abilities during the day, and some will give you specific abilities during the night. Once you've completed the bidding round, and mind you, not all of these contacts will be bid on. Some will be passed by everyone and be completely turned over, and no one's going to gain the benefit from them. You then move on to the sector phase. The sector phase is very interesting. Each turn, at least one sector is going to have a watchdog in it. If there's a watchdog, you cannot go in there. But if there's not a watchdog, then each player in secret is going to choose from cards that they're handed at the beginning of the game which sector they're going to put their Crimeneeple in. Their Crimeneeple is then going to have an option to go to that sector, and they're numbered 1 through 6, which are going to correspond to the missions as well. They can either complete a mission by going to the mission space on the sector, matching up to a mission that has the same number, and spending the resources on that mission, putting them back into the main supply, gaining an immediate benefit, and any reputation or infamy that's listed along the bottom of the mission as well. They could also go to a resupply space. There's some that have the specific factions, there's some that have resources, and there's some that actually have actions on them as well. If you don't have reputation with a faction and you go to a faction resupply space of a sector, you're automatically going to gain 1 reputation. If you already have 1 reputation or more, you're going to draw a scheme card. And that gets us to the final portion of the turn, which is the scheme phase. In the scheme phase, each player is going to be allowed to play 1 scheme card. And as you can imagine, there's some really nice combinations in these. They can feed off of the reputation track and help you by combos there, or they can combo in of all other multiple schemes of that same faction and even get as complex as comboing between factions as well. It's really, really fun. Then you're going to count up points, you're going to check for winners, you're going to gain some bonuses based on if you have any henchmen as well, and then you're going to reset the contacts, flip the marker to night, bring out 5 new contacts, go through another set of phases, and that will be the end of 1 round. It's very, very simple. You want to use your bids as expeditiously as possible to make sure that you gain the right contacts that you're going to use. You're then going to go to the right sector spaces to either complete missions or gain more resources or gain more reputation, and then use scheme cards to disrupt gameplay as you go. It's really, really elegant that each phase feels as though it's a different complete section of the game. You feel very engaged when you're working against other people to win the contacts you want or snipe them at the right times. And then there's a lot of choices, especially when there's 2 watchdogs possibly out inside of the sector phase, as to where you're going to go and what you're going to do to gain resources and benefit yourself, or oppose your opponents and stop them from gaining any kind of reputation or infamy from the missions that are out there. There's also the ability to sabotage missions, which is really cool, which basically removes them from play and puts them on the bottom of the deck. All in all, there's quite a lot to do inside of Infamy, but it's really easy to learn once you get the game flow down. Bid on contacts, go to special areas inside of Area 6, gain resources and henchmen and favors, complete missions, and play schemes to throw off your opponents. That's Infamy. Infamy has been a lot of fun, whether we played 3 or 4 players. In a 3-player game, that bidding phase is really competitive because you can't just let somebody go unchecked and get contacts really cheap. In a 4-player game, the sector phase is really competitive. There's only so many places you can go, and especially if a second watchdog comes out to block off a sector, there's really a lot of different things that could happen where you have to decide, do I need to go somewhere to benefit me, or do I need to block somebody who's about to complete a mission or get a resource that'll benefit them later on? The schemes are really fun and very impactful. And one thing I was really happy with is that each of the reputation faction boards, I first saw them and I thought maybe these aren't going to be differentiated enough. But I'm very happy to say that between those scheme cards and the reputation bonuses you can get by moving up in each of those factions really made each one feel different. So that was a really nice takeaway from the game as well. Overall, Infamy has been a lot of fun, and if this video has interested you in the game, definitely feel free to check out the links below in our YouTube description or at the end of our video to check out their Kickstarter project. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's in motion right now, and they don't have too much time left in the video. I think there's about a week left as we're filming this right now. If you like cyberpunk, if you like bidding wars, if you like taking over an entire planet's colony, check out Infamy from Mercury Games. Thank you so much for watching. We'd like to take a second and thank Mercury Games and Travis Chance for providing us a copy of Infamy to do this preview for you. In the meantime, let us know what you think. Take a second and leave a comment below in the YouTube channel. You can of course join in the discussion on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Google Plus by searching Crits Happen or at our homepage at critshappen.com. But until we see you next time, we hope you enjoy taking over Area 6 inside of Infamy. Thanks for watching. Keep rolling those dice. We hope they're all crits.